on that topic in the White House press briefing. This document just being released, though, today. 2 patients have been taken away in ambulances. They were evacuated from the MV Honduras cruise ship with suspected hantavirus infections and flown to Amsterdam. The World Health Organization says 8 cases have been recorded, with 5 confirmed by lab tests. 3 people have died. Meanwhile, officials from Argentina are investigating the origin of the outbreak. The leading hypothesis right now is the Dutch couple contracted the virus during a bird watching outing before boarding that ship.
Morgan Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities. You're watching NonStop Local Pulse Prime. This is breaking news.
We do have some breaking news that we're following out of the Yakima Police Department. They're looking for 19-year-old Desiree Hantavirus, who they say is missing and endangered. She is about 5'2", 130 pounds, and was last seen wearing camo pants with black boots, driving a white-colored sedan like an Infiniti or an Acura. If you know anything about where she is or you've seen her, please call 911. Well, new tonight, after a massive 3-day search in the mountains of Umatilla County, a missing Oregon man is now home safe tonight. Good evening. I'm Morgan Ashley. Investigators say there are still many questions about how he survived or managed to alone in the wilderness for days. Brendan Jin has more on the search effort and those questions that still remain.
We're really glad that this turned out well. It was getting long. You start to get worried when they're out there that long, so we're just thrilled to have him back home safe.
Mickey Kearns went missing during a family mushroom hunting trip near Mount Emily Snow Park Sunday afternoon. After 3 days of searching, the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office got a tip from Union Pacific Railroad Tuesday night, reporting a trespasser about 6 miles from where Kearns was last seen.
Didn't match the clothing description, but we still went up there, did a search, looked through this whole area, no results.
The next morning, around 8:20 on Wednesday, search and rescue crews were preparing for another day of searching when they got the call Kearns was already safe at home.
And so what we learned is that a Union Pacific Railroad employee had been flagged down by him on a road up by Meacham Creek, picked him up, gave him a ride, gave him some food, gave him some water, and gave him a ride home to Stanfield.
The Umatilla County Sheriff's Office leading the 3-day search with assistance from search and rescue teams from across Oregon, K-9 units, special drone operators, and Life Flight.
So we have people from all surrounding counties come in from search and rescue groups. We have a really great relationship with the working counties, and in this rural of an area, we have to have that type of resources, and we all have to work together.
Ground search teams covering steep terrain, managing dense vegetation, and hiking thousands of miles while looking for Kearns. The Sheriff's Office still doesn't know how Kearns survived 4 days alone in the mountains, but they're only focused on one thing right now, the fact he made it home alive.
He was reported as not wearing, adequate clothing at all, no adequate supplies, in fact, no supplies. So really, we're a little baffled too. We would like to hear his story and kind of hear how his adventure went. We did reach out a little bit, had a really short conversation, but no details at this point. We're going to let him recover, and then in a couple days when he's rested up, then we'll go out and have a conversation.
In Umatilla County, Brendan Jin, NonStop Local.
We're certainly glad that he was found safe. And continuing coverage as exposure to harmful forever chemicals is linked to a series of health risks. Some people living in Spokane's West Plains neighborhood see high levels of these chemicals in their drinking water. This weekend marks a step toward safer water for the area. Let's bring in NonStop Local's Rosemary Wright, who's tracking this for us tonight. So the contaminated water near the airport, this has been an issue that we've been tracking for several years.
Morgan, these forever chemicals are not something that you want in your family's drinking water. So the Spokane International Airport, Spokane County, and the city of Spokane are all coming together to give out water filters for those living in the West Plains area. Saturday, these groups will host an open house at the Waste to Energy plant. The city says there they'll give out water filter pitchers and containers for collecting water too. Those attending can also expect instructions for using the city's water fill station and getting wells on their property tested. This all in an effort to limit exposure to forever chemicals for those living near the airport.
You know, we still shower in and brush our teeth, wash our dishes, wash our clothes in PFAS water because we can't get around it.
At the airport found they, alongside the city and the county, are, quote, potentially liable persons in the presence of forever chemicals in the area drinking water. That's according to a statement from the city about this weekend's event. You may know forever chemicals by the acronym PFAS. Nearly all people in the U.S. have some measurable amount of PFAS in their blood, according to Spokane Regional Health District. But our bodies don't break them down easily, hence the name forever chemicals. The health district links PFAS to high cholesterol, blood pressure problems, a weak immune system, and issues during pregnancy, too. Spokane Public Works says the airport named as a site with forever chemicals about 3 years ago. This is just the latest attempt at securing safe water for those living nearby. This weekend's event is set to run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and you can find more information on who should attend and how on our website, nonstoplocal.com. Morgan?
All right, Rosemary, thank you for that. Let's take a look outside now as we talk about our forecast. We had a beautiful sunny start to the day and then overcast skies to kind of end things, and we're still seeing a little bit of daylight on these cameras, which is incredible. Tori, what are things looking like to you?
Well, it is still overcast outside pretty much across the inland northwest. We are expecting a couple isolated thunderstorms and mountain showers towards the Idaho panhandle. Current temperatures are into the upper 60s for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Bit more cloudy as you head towards the metro area rather than the Tri-Cities. Yakima has a couple showers going on at this time as well, and winds are pretty breezy there, anywhere up to about 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts can be expected all the way through about 1 a.m. Here's what's going on right now. As of right now, we have a thunderstorm starting to develop in the Idaho panhandle and move into Montana. You can see a couple of those lightning strikes there since 7 p.m. this evening. So those thunderstorms, by the time we get to midnight, will start to die down and dissipate. As we head into your Thursday, we're expecting much more fair weather to return to the inland northwest. We'll have your full forecast and some of those warm Mother's Day temperatures coming up shortly. Morgan, back to you.
All right, well, continuing coverage now as Rathdrum Mayor Mike Hill officially resigns from his position. Local police announced he was allegedly involved in a domestic battery incident. According to the police report, they responded to a call for a dispute at a home and were told by a witness that he left the scene. The victim told police they did not want to press charges and believed Hill would be unarmed in Spokane, Washington. Rathdrum City Council President John Hodgkins will be the interim mayor at this time, saying in a statement, quote, while this change may bring questions, they are stable, quote, stable and continue to be led by your elected officials, end quote. The case does remain active at this point. Well, around 10 a.m., Omak High School received an anonymous call today where someone was threatening to shoot up the school. All buildings were placed in lockdown as first responders rushed in there. About an hour later, Omak police determined the threat was not credible and were able to open up the campus and resume classes. Police were on campus for the rest of the day as a precaution, but no additional information was released about the nature of that threat. About 10 minutes after the threat in Omak was debunked, police in Lewiston, Idaho got a call about a possible active shooter at Cornerstone Christian School. The caller told police they had taken an anonymous call with a threat of a shooting. Cornerstone Christian and several other schools in Lewiston were locked down as police arrived. Lewiston police lifted the lockdown just before noon. In a developing story, a recent survey by the Association of Washington Business shows 1 in 4 employers are looking to leave the state of Washington. According to the survey, 24% of employers are considering relocating, up 17% from the previous quarter and triple the 2025 winter survey. Data also shows more than 1/3 of those considering relocating say they are already in the beginning stages of exploring a business move. Less than 1/3 are actively looking for new locations, and the rest are developing a relocation plan. Data also found 72% of those surveyed rate the state's overall tax burden as a top business challenge. 46% expect a recession in the next year. 7% say Washington's economy is strong, down from 10% in the last quarter. Well, tonight the Spokane Public School Board is looking to approve a $600,000 contract to provide its bus fleet with routing software. It comes as SPS is making a $30 million investment in a new bus fleet, which was approved in December. Recent changes make it much more expensive for the district to continue its contract through Zoom School Services.
You need your contractor to be a partner with you in that. Extremely difficult to stop school in June with approximately 140 buses with bus drivers that are employed by your contractor and buses owned by your contractor, and turn around 2 months later and have your own fleet of 140 buses that are your bus drivers. To make that pivot in a 2-month window is a very complex process.
Those new buses are rolling into Spokane slowly with the goal of having all district-owned buses by next year. Well, college baseball is approaching its postseason, but we've still got a few games left before it starts. And Austin Getz joins us now. Big weekend ahead for the Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, time running short. The Cougars playing some really good ball right now, Morgan, putting together a good season, not just a good season, one of the best they've had in years. They've won 5 consecutive series for the first time since 1999, and they are in the hunt for a Mountain West Conference title. Now, this weekend is the conference series, the final conference series for the Cougars. They're headed to Air Force to face a Falcons team who's just ahead of them in the standings. If the Cougs are able to finish with one of the 2 top spots, and keep in mind San Diego State isn't totally out of reach either, they would grab a first-round bye in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Wazoo head coach Nathan Choate is ready for a big road series against the Falcons.
If we can win the series on the road, I think we can get the bye. I think that will happen, and so obviously we need to pitch well. It's a pretty offensive ballpark, but yeah, that's kind of, if you can finish in the first or second spot, you get that bye, and you're not playing in the playing game, so pretty big deal this weekend.
Yeah, Cougs looking for their 6th straight series win, one that would have massive postseason implications. This 3-game set gets started Friday at 2 o'clock. Then after this series, the Cougs have just one remaining regular season game, a home non-conference matchup against Seattle U next Tuesday. And Morgan, coming up in a bit, we'll hear from Gonzaga baseball as well, who's also putting together a great series and season, I should say, and also has a big series ahead on the weekend. So a lot of good college ball being played.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Still to come here tonight, leaders with the Department of Ecology coming together to talk about the future of water in our state, what they plan to do after years of drought conditions. And then a new show on PBS featuring the beauty of the inland Northwest. Tori spoke with Katie Lila from Follow the Blooms.
And temperatures are starting to slightly cool down in the next couple of days, right before a major warm-up for Mother's Day. We'll have a look at your full forecast coming up soon.
Content connecting community. You're watching The Pulse.
I'm Bradley Warren. This is The Pulse. Blue Cross Blue Shield is set to begin making payments on a $2.67 billion healthcare settlement from a class action lawsuit dating back to 2013. The lawsuit alleges that the health insurance plans violated antitrust laws. To qualify, you needed to submit a valid claim by the 5th of November of 2021. If you didn't do that, you're not getting a payout. Looks like compensation, though, is going to be to the tune of $333. Out of New York, we did receive a document today that could be Jeffrey Epstein's suicide letter. Here's a look at it. It was released by a judge. It says they investigated me, found nothing, and it later says it's time to say goodbye. In closing, it says, no fun, not worth it. He later hung himself in jail in 2019 before he could stand trial for sex trafficking minors. We're watching the Middle East right now, specifically the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian officials say they're reviewing the latest proposal from the United States. This is traffic on the strait is still at a halt. President Trump on social media threatened a new wave of bombing if a deal is not reached. We're waiting for news out of Islamabad right now as the United States and, of course, the Iranians are negotiating. Quick look at gas prices. Locally, it is still above $5. In Idaho, it is, of course, cheaper for $57 in the Gem State. Thanks for being with us here on The Pulse. I'm Bradley Warren. We're back after this.
Well, 1 month after a 4 years of drought was declared in Washington, Governor Bob Ferguson and the Department of Ecology are launching a statewide initiative to tackle growing water challenges. So Washington's water future will bring roundtables to communities across the state this summer. The Yakima Basin is all too familiar with these challenges as the president of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association called attention to their plan.
That they're not certain from day to day if that system will blow out when water is in it. This is a clear example of the need to not only plan long term, but be prepared to see that hole that we're already in get a little bit deeper.
He says although there's been progress through the last 18 years, it's still just the beginning when it comes to building more water supply. State leaders stress the importance of finding solutions that work as climate change makes winter flooding and summer droughts more common and snowpack becomes less reliable for storing water.
Going to be very important as we head into the next couple of months with that water supply. Morgan, thank you. As we look outside, we're going to hold it for just a second. If we can see a lightning strike, this is over the Idaho Panhandle. There it is right there to the right of the screen. We have a thunderstorm across the Idaho Panhandle. These are towards those northern mountains. So let's go ahead and zoom in on radar and show you what that is actively looking like as of right now. This is the Idaho Panhandle into the Montana area. You can see a couple of those lightning strikes starting to develop. My best guess is that it's definitely this one right here that we're starting to see some of that on our tower cam. So really cool to see some of that lightning. It's still pretty dry outside with the exception of those isolated mountain showers, and temperatures currently into the 70s. 72 for Moses Lake. We're seeing 60 towards Colville, 63 in Sandpoint, and 63 as we head closer towards Libby. These temperatures are helping fuel some of those isolated thunderstorms in the mountains as we speak. As we head into the next couple of hours, by the time we get to midnight, these showers are into central Montana, and we're expecting cloud coverage to start to shift out of the area as well. It was a very overcast day, but as we head into your morning, we're going to expect temperatures into the low 50s. Going to feel nice and pleasant outside. Low of 48 degrees for Chewelah, and we're all seeing high pressure ridging continue across the inland northwest for at least the next 60 hours. This is going to keep the temperatures well above average for this time of year, as well as bring some gusty winds to the inland northwest. All of these areas that you see all those lines right there, that's going to be what we call isobars. And when they're really close together, it means we get a lot of wind here in the inland northwest. So anywhere along the Columbia Basin can still expect wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at some of those future gusts through the early morning hours. Spokane even reaching about 15-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But the main focus here is going to be in the Columbia Basin on the leeward side of the Cascades. High temperatures tomorrow going to be into the upper 70s for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, close to the low 80s for Vintage and down to 82 as you head towards Yakima, 82 in the Tri-Cities. Temperatures are gradually cooling here in about the next 4 days or so, with the exception of Sunday, which is in fact Mother's Day. We are expecting a well above temperatures for this time of year by the time we get to the end of this weekend. Clearing skies will be in the forecast for Thursday. A couple of isolated mountain showers possible once again. By Friday, the clouds roll back in, and we're going to see them linger all the way through your Saturday and the beginning of your Mother's Day. Partly sunny skies for Spokane, mostly sunny as we head towards Coeur d'Alene and into the Tri-Cities. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Temperatures are staying pretty toasty this time of year. Morgan?
And you know, spring is in full bloom across the inland northwest.
I got to look at some of the lovely flowers at Manitou Park today.
Yes.
And now the beauty of our region is being highlighted for a national audience. I got to speak with the host of the PBS series, Follow the Blooms.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's a show that features flower gardens from across the nation, many of them here in the inland northwest.
My heart is most at home in Spokane. So no matter what happens with the show, I always want it to root here. So we'll always try to film a big part of the show and the episodes in Spokane.
So there's a total of 10 episodes highlighting local growers. Katie says the passion comes from her grandmother.
She told me she hopes that people take away delight from this, the joy of flowers, and that is what she is wanting from this series. She wants to make it entertaining and fun. Season 1 airs in June, and PBS has already approved Season 2, which is currently being filmed.
Well, coming up, a decision has been made. Will the Kentucky Derby winner go for the next leg of the Triple Crown? Austin's back with the answer.
From the Northern Quest Sports Studio, this is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Gonzaga baseball is on the verge of winning the West Coast Conference regular season title for the first time since 2022. They've also got eyes on their first NCAA tournament berth since 2022, with 6 games left to play in the regular season. After a non-conference win over Washington State on Monday, the Zags are preparing to head to San Francisco for a vital 3-game series against the Dons. As you can see on your screen, the Zags are up 3 games on USF for first place in the WCC, so a win in the series, especially a sweep, would put the Zags right on the edge of clinching the regular season title. But head coach Mark Maktoff, even with his team at the top of the standings, is still trying to not look ahead.
I think our kids are going to remain confident. They've played well for so long that hopefully they wouldn't let one weekend change that. But we've been preparing for it, and we really pride ourselves on playing. You know, they're all important from day one, and so we pride ourselves on coming out and doing it our way, regardless of the situation, regardless of the score.
Big weekend for the Zags ahead. 3 against USF on the road. First pitch of the first game of this series Friday at 2 o'clock. After this series, the Zags close out the regular season at home against Seattle U for 3 games. Earlier today, the Seattle Mariners beating the Atlanta Braves 3-1 to hand Atlanta their first series loss all season. Julio Rodriguez homered and Brian Wu had an excellent bounce back, allowing just 1 hit in 6 innings while striking out 9. Day off tomorrow now for the M's before they start a 7-game road trip on Friday. Spokane Indians looking to build on the momentum of a series-opening win against the Tri-City Dust Devils and shake off what's been a slow start to the first month of the season. Game 2 of this 6-game set as the series got off to a quick start. Bottom of the first, Ronier Hernandez ropes a base hit into left field. That will score Tevin Tucker for a 1-0 Spokane lead. A couple of batters later with only 1 out, Alan Espinal will sky one out to deep left, just deep enough to score Jacob Humphrey from third as he tags up 2-zip Spokane early. Tri-City had their chance to respond. Randy DeJesus lines a shot to the short fence in right. Max Ballou sees him round first, picks up the ball and throws a rope to second to nab the runner. What a throw. Dust Devils finally would get a run in the 6th inning off of a wild pitch as Jake Monroe will trot home to score. And Tri-City would tie it up in the 7th on a bases-loaded walk, but Spokane walks it off in the 9th thanks to an RBI single by Hernandez on his 3rd hit of the ballgame. Big news for Gonzaga great Yvonne Ejim. The former Zag has signed a training camp contract with the WNBA's Toronto Tempo, an expansion club preparing to play their first season in the league. The 2-time WCC Player of the Year will have the chance to play in her home country after last playing pro ball in Spain. There's currently 16 players on Toronto's roster. They'll have to cut that down to 12 by the time the regular season starts on Friday. And Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo will not run in the Preakness Stakes on May 16th. That announcement coming from trainer Cherie DeVoe today. DeVoe saying the owners and her have made the decision that Golden Tempo needs more rest after running in the Derby and that they are turning their attention to potentially running him in the Belmont Stakes on June 6th.
That's all we have for now. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
Morgan Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities. You're watching